one of the before the day before Edmont goes into the Giggle Dungeon, I'm going to the I guess the night of, if we're not doing anything else. The day before, like he's going in and he's thinking, and I'm just going to grab Tenny, and Tenny is staying with me.
Okay. I mean, she's not happy about that.
And I'm going to put a book in front of her and start teaching. And it's like, guess what? You are of an age where you need to learn how to use the house magic. And lessons start now.
Evie is entirely on board with this.
Okay, so you're going to start her instruction on... So the first thing she would be instructed to do, kind of like a coming of age kind of thing, would be you would explain the secrets on how to construct a house relic, and that would kind of be her first task.
Right, that's like lesson 1, and that's what we're doing for the next, I guess, 3 days.
Okay.
And basically, what Jeannie is doing is she's preparing the arcane, arcane lock. Yeah, arcane lock spell. She's locking her and Tenny in Jeannie's bedroom, or excuse me, she's gonna lock them both into the workshop with, like, I don't know, a week's worth of food so they have extra. And we're not leaving for the next 3 days.
So she's going to be in this workshop with you the whole time Edmont's down in his Giggle Dungeon.
Correct. All the, like, doors, windows, everything just magically locked.
So everybody but Edmont's and Jeannie then has 3 days of which to take downtime actions if you would like. Since Edmont will be chained to a wall and Jeannie will be...
Chained to a child?
Chained to a child.
Nice.
Okay, so how does everyone feel about me concocting the poison to incapacitate Edmont if it ever became necessary?
Worth a shot.
Because it's going to take 30 days for me to make it. It's going to cost 150 gold, and it's only one shot.
After seeing the reality of all those innocent dead people, Victor supports that.
Okay, so everyone's on board for me to get started on that?
Sure.
Okay. Then that's what Evie's going to start working on.
Are Victor and Ekon advancing any downtime actions over that 3 days?
I think the main thing Victor is going to do is go talk to the Vistani and ask her about the glaring darkness.
Okay, we'll come to that in 1 second. Is Ekon doing anything as far as downtime actions over that 3 days?
Yeah, I'd like to take my retainer, my herbalist, and I'd like to go out into the wilderness and gather up spell components because I'm really burning through incense here.
Oh, I need to resummon my familiar too.
Okay, do we have
at some point?
Do we have a downtime action codified for that kind of thing in Xanathar's? So we can just resolve it really quickly. I'm actually not sure.
Maybe you could skid the work action as that.
Yeah, I was going to say, like, survival for crafting or something.
Bear with me 1 second. Yeah, you know what? That's a good idea. That's a good idea. We'll call this a work action then. You're taking 3 days of it. And it's going to be you and your retainer out doing this?
Yep, and then I can cast both Borrowed Knowledge to make myself proficient in this skill and Enhanced Ability. And I think working together, could we have advantage on those?
Yeah, I'll let you roll at advantage. So 3 days, we'll call it a survival check.
Yep. Once I'm proficient, I actually have a higher survival.
You're looking at, I'm going to say, a DC of 15 for each day. So go ahead and make those rolls real quick. Let's resolve this before we move on to the terrible thing that's about to happen to Victor.
Advantage.
Actually, Victor would have to go out with you, wouldn't he?
Oh, that's true. Yeah, Victor, you can't be.
I mean, you could
a day away.
You could just start your day.
You could just come back at the end of each night. Yeah.
Yeah, that's probably what happens. Okay.
So first one is a 20.
20? Okay.
26. Second one is a 17, and the third one is a Oof. 13.
A 13. So that comes out to 50 gold worth of herbs and incenses and things. For this
And do you care if I use the incense interchangeably for Find Familiar and other spells that require incense specifically?
No, I don't care.
Can I just start putting down incense?
Yeah, so that's 50 gold worth that you found.
Yep, great.
So a roll of 15 to 20 says you have a comfortable lifestyle from your work. And a roll of 20 plus says a comfortable lifestyle plus 25 gold. So you got one exceptional success and one good success. Victor.
Can I take a small amount of that for my summoning?
Yeah, sure.
Yes.
You're asking... I have the character's name here somewhere.
Oliana, I think? That name jumped out at me.
Yeah, Kolyana.
Hey!
Yeah, Koyara.
You're asking her about the Wojno.
Yeah.
Seems surprised that you've heard this word at all. Yeah, she confirms that it's a Vistani word. It's used poetically more than anything. It has a meaning with the connotations of staring into the darkness long enough that it stares back.
Is it a actual thing among your people, or just a expression, so to speak?
She says that she has known... it is said that many people are lost to the Wojno. That many people cannot endure looking upon it. But that her people, the Vistani, are hardier than most in this regard. There are ways in which they have learned to travel along with the darkness instead of walking against it. If it is at your back, you cannot stare at it.
Would you teach me?
She asks what makes you think this is something that can be learned.
I do not know, but I am willing to find out.
She tells you that this is not... I mean, at this point, all of your family members have kind of split off to do their own thing. Like, she knows that Jeannie is off in the tower teaching magic, and that she knows that Ekon is traveling out into the wilds every day in search of particular herbs and incense and things. These are skills that you all have learned over your lifetime, plying your trade. But enduring the Wojno is not a skill. It is something that is in your spirit or is not.
Indeed, your people are wise. Would you tell me more of your ways in the coming weeks? Basically, Victor wants to learn all about the Vistani and how they live in Vistani culture and all that stuff.
I'm sure he does. Bear with me 1 second. I was wondering when this would come up.
When does Victor turn into a Vistani?
You can't be turned into a Vistani. Oh, you know what? I don't have the object saved, do I? Shoot. I thought I had prepared for this. Clearly I have not.
You are not prepared.
You may...
Well, now to spend like half an hour splicing things together in Roll20 to try and get it to work properly.
Right. Yeah, bear with me. Give me 2 minutes to finish this up. I thought I had saved this, but I had not.
How much incense do you want? Oh,
Solitayre.
Oh my god.
I'll take 2 doses of it.
sure. So that's 20.
Note that I
Yeah, I
have.
would use my familiar, but I just I don't I have other things to use my bonus action on, and they're very important. Oh,
Oh,
the
fun
loads
time.
of images.
I don't think I need this custom background. I think I just need this. Sorry, as you were.
What is that flag? Oh. Now we're inside.
Oh, why can't I paste this in? Tabletop Simulator, why?
Did it paste it under the other map?
I saw something.
I did too.
Yeah, I saw
A
it
split
looked like it.
second.
Yeah,
I think
it looked like it. The object says. I think the object is there.
It might
It's
be
under.
under something.
It's
Yeah.
under something?
It's under the
Might be
map,
under
I
the
think.
table.
It can't be under the map. It's part of the table. You can't spawn something under the table. It doesn't make any sense.
Oh, I see something going off
It's
into
falling.
space. Hey,
Aha.
there it is.
Ah.
All right.
Hey,
Oh, that's cool.
Victor, you are
Yeah.
told in no uncertain terms by Koyana that she will not share with you the secrets of her people. But there is more wisdom that can be told, and she tells you that while you were away, she has completed the construction of her Taraka. She tells you that she will give you a reading, and that perhaps you would want your brothers and sisters to be there with you when you receive it. But she also cautions you that it might reveal truths about yourself and your condition that once revealed cannot be hidden again. The Taraka never lies. You've already learned from her that having knowledge can be dangerous.
Mm-hmm.
And this is knowledge about the very core of your being.
I will gather 1 or 2 family members.
So are you going to accept a reading from her?
Yes, he will. Should he invite Jeannie to the reading?
I was going to ask, does anybody else like to be present for Victor's descent into supernatural mumbo jumbo?
I'm not sure.
snarl, growl.
Well, we can do
Maybe.
this after your werewolf time is over.
Evie's into it.
I mean, I would
Yeah, I'll
go.
go.
I don't know if he wants to invite Evie.
I don't know.
I mean,
She's very bossy.
we would still show up anyway.
Yeah.
You can't
It's
tell Evie
true.
not to come.
We would
Hey,
all
guys.
just-
She tells
You
you
know-
that she will assent to give you this reading. You're asking it of her, but she will not give it for free. What she wants in return is for you to speak to your... she calls Ekon your brother. You know that she knows that he's not. But she very consistently refers to all of the other Veritas as your siblings. She says that this is a very ancient and sacred ritual amongst her people, providing readings like this to citizens outside of her clan. And that she wants explicit permission from the Aethar that these readings can be done in the village amongst the townsfolk. That this is a service that she can provide to make herself some coin and also appease those people in your village who would trust in her readings.
I would be delighted to get his blessing for you.
Does Ekon have any particular concern about that?
No. People practice back in Fernisco, people would do magic that wasn't necessarily, from air, houses with house abilities. So this doesn't seem that out of her using a tool to perform a ritual like that. Doesn't seem out of sorts to him.
Okay. All right, Victor's reading.
How does he die? Let's find out.
Flips in the bathtub and breaks his neck.
Bear with me one moment. I've got to pull up some notes here.
He's gonna get killed by a bear, I guess.
I didn't say it this time, McDohl.
Where?
I did not point out the bear in the room.
So Vic, the concern or the warning that she gives you, especially if your family is present to see this reading, is that truths may be revealed about you that you have been hiding from them. She's not in any control of what the cards say. She is only the interpreter, but that they will not lie. You could tell she's putting on a little bit of showmanship because she has her own room inside of the manor house where you guys had put her up. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, she has a little table that she's set up, and has candles that you can tell that she's probably made herself, and she's put up, doing the whole thing. You can tell that this is something she's very good at, and she has spent quite a lot of time constructing this new deck since the time that she's been here.
Good question. Does this deck look anything like the black card deck that I picked up?
You haven't opened the black card deck.
Okay. She's not keeping them in like a case or anything that looks like it.
No, she's keeping hers in an unadorned cloth sack.
Okay.
With a drawstring. She casts the cards in front of Victor in a cross-shaped pattern. This one in the center. This one to the left. This one to the right. How?
Oh no!
What happened?
Wow.
Ravenloft.
Okay. Here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna do it on this table because I don't know what's going on that table. Center, left, right, above, and below.
Table it
drop
hungers.
through again.
Table it hungers.
It hungers.
I love
I
it.
didn't use any dark magic when I made that map. I don't know what's going on.
Victor, the center card is the beasts.
Edmont looks away very...
And she eyes you. And remember, she knows a little something about Victor's curse. You've confided in her some things. She tells you... Does she know about... Yeah, she does know about Edmont's lycanthropy.
Yeah, she's the one that told us about it.
Right. She tells you that the center card represents you. She doesn't call you Victor, does she? She has a name for you because you've refused to give her your real name. She started calling you something else. I've got that note somewhere in my 40,000 text files.
Yeah, it's somewhere that I have. It's like
Laraji or something.
Something like that, yeah.
The beast signifies something malevolent, hiding inside the core of your being. And in this case, she can see that it's consuming you day by day. She tells you that your brother, and she motions to Ekon, prays over you every morning, staves off this malevolent inside of you that is growing. But you can feel it, can't you?
Victor will nod slightly.
It's consuming your belly, your insides, your guts. It's seeping into your bones. And a time will come when your brother's magic will not be strong enough to stave it off, and there will be more of the beasts than remains of Laraji. She turns the next card. The card to the left. This is the card of your past. The Three of Coins. The Three of Coins represents commerce. You were concerned with fair dealings in your past, or at least fair enough. And she gives you a knowing look. Perhaps more fair for some than others, depending on who would benefit Laraji's purse, perhaps?
He will just give a slight shrug. and a knowing smile.
You would not cheat anybody who came to you with their business, but nor would you close your hand to an opportune moment. We all know this of our dear friend, do we not? She casts her gaze out to the rest of the family. This is the card to the right. This card is your future. She flips it, reveals the Two of Swords, and she seems taken aback for a moment. She says, the Two of Swords represents the Paladin. Forgive me, I do not know the intricacies of your religion, but you have warrior priests. And she is asking this of Ekon.
Ekon just taps the hammer on his belt and nods.
Forgive me, but you did bid me continue.
Please, go on.
The Paladin in your future is destined to slay the malevolence within you. And she looks at Ekon. So the day will come when your brother may have no choice but to raise sword against you. The choice you will make, Laraji, on that day is whether you will submit to your brother's justice or whether you will let the beast intervene.
You use the word justice as if you anticipate great crimes.
She reconfirms the malevolence grows inside of you. We spoke of this.
Victor nods.
She flips the top card. This card, Laraji, is your face. She smiles. The innocent. The innocent is somebody who is greatly important, but also considers themselves to live in great danger. This is the face you project to the world. She seems very pleased with this revelation.
Victor just kind of gives a little chuckle and nods a little bit.
The final card.
Go on.
The bottom card. Laraji, this is your deepest and darkest heart. This is the other side of your face, the inside. The side others don't know because you choose not to reveal it. But I reveal it now. The Three of Stars. The Diviner.
Pardon me, what was that? I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Not the Diviner, the Enchanter.
The Enchanter.
She says, again, she's taken aback. I would have expected, perhaps, the Two of Stars. She explains the Diviner seeks knowledge, pursues it relentlessly, anywhere in the shadowy corners where it hides. But the Three of Stars, the Enchanter, is defined by confusion, clouded in lies, conflicted. The Enchanter represents a device inside of you, a part of your mortal being that is played upon by magic or outside forces, imploring you to act against your better nature. Well, against your nature, she says with a smile. These forces seek to corrupt you, to turn you inward. Perhaps they sense the malevolence that grows inside. She turns to Ekon. Perhaps it can be allowed to grow no longer. And with that, she collects the cards back up.
Well,
Shuffles them, slides them back into her pouch.
Thank you, Kiana.
She tells you to do with this knowledge what you will.
I think I'm going to get some sleep. Ekon, please don't kill me.
Sure. It's pretty unnerving.
Indeed.
Or, I suppose if you do kill me, just make sure you can resurrect first.
I don't know. I thought that went rather well. Last time I did a Taraka reading like that, I stacked the decks so I knew what I was going to draw ahead of time.
What are you in stacks if you're not?
No, I shuffled it. You guys...
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I
Yeah.
saw him press...
I saw the shuffle.
Yeah.
Oh god, here they all are!
Here
No,
they are.
I don't need you anymore.
That was part of his first reading, though. That's the real reading right there that he just deleted.
It was all paladins all the time.
All paladins all the way down.
So,
Oops, all paladins.
this is the... So the price for that reading was she wants to make this service available to other villagers who would receive them. Like, she's going to give these same creepy readings to anybody in town that has the coin to pay for them.
That's okay with me.
That's fine with Victor. Victor greatly encourages Evie to make it known that if they disagree with the reading or they do not like the Vistani, they are not to give her trouble. They are to respect her.
Well, yeah, that's literally how she got into trouble with the Celtistravi, isn't it?
Oh yeah.
She gave them a reading that they did not like.
She gave a reading they did not like. She foretold of their destruction at the hand of invaders, and they did not want to hear it.
And then what happened?
Nothing. Nothing important anyway.
No, nothing.
Nothing important at all. Something
Okay.
Squelcher Lord. That's what happened.
If the villagers dislike their readings, they can go and talk about it to Father Ekon.
Aethar Ekon.
The last
He's
thing that
Father
happens
Ekon.
before your next adventure is one of the... I mean, you guys are sending loggers out pretty commonly out into the woods, and your woodsmen are getting a very good lay of the land. And you know that there's a valley nearby, within a couple days' travel of your village, where a strange phenomenon called the Landstorm is said to happen. Where storms would kick up and it would begin to rain, but the lightning, instead of striking from the sky and striking the earth, as it normally does, casts along the ground. And it's said that this lightning mist will form up on either side of the valley, and the lightning will streak from one side to the other in this brilliant display. Well, this logging party comes back one day prematurely, with a lot less wood than they should have been sent out to gather. Because, apparently, a couple of these loggers took the night to travel out to the valley to get drunk and watch this spectacle before getting back to work the next day. Well, one of them, you know, as young men are wont to do, it turned into a pissing contest, and one of the men went down into the valley as the Landstorm was occurring, and he is extremely badly burned. I mean, you can picture a man being electrocuted with a lightning strike. So they packed him up on the cart, they traveled home as soon as they could, and he's breathing, but he's going to die pretty shortly from his burns. Unless intervention occurs.
Eugenia, do you want to take this one or should I?
I mean, I can do it. I'll throw a... How many cure wounds does it take to stabilize him?
I mean, you can stabilize him with any amount of magical healing.
Right. Well, I'll give him a level 1 cure wounds.
And I mean, his companions that were with him that night, like, they had sobered up immediately. And they describe the spectacle of the Landstorm as being beautiful, but terrible and almost overwhelmingly loud. Much louder than... I mean, thunder is already loud, but the thunder refused to cease the whole time the lights was streaking across the valley. And it was sending electric waves outward in all directions. And just as quickly as it erupted seemingly from nowhere, it disappeared through the other side of the valley, through the other bank of mists. And by the time it was quiet again, their friend that had gone down when they went to collect him had apparently been electrocuted.
I think at the very least we should go and see this phenomenon for ourselves.
Yeah, it sounds like we need to investigate.
We don't have enough people to be being fried.
Well, I'll ask Ekon and Genie, like, do you guys know of any supernatural phenomenon that could make lightning arc across the ground?
Yeah.
Sure.
The bottle?
I mean, a sufficiently powerful magic user could shoot lightning from his fingers.
Could conjure a lightning elemental.
There was that one guy, Ekon, that one priest that could just pull it straight out of the sky. Right?
Yep.
Yeah.
The man who turned
Some
himself
celestials
into
can
a
just
beast.
channel lightning at will. Some demons, too.
The man who we encountered in the basement of our home back in Brennanine.
Well, I thought he had fire.
Yeah, but
I guess if
who's
you
to
hit
say
it with
that
fire, you
couldn't
can do
also- Yeah.
I mean, I can, and like Jeannie pulls out her thing and just like, I can like electrocute people with this. Because I've got switched back over to Shock and Grasp when I leveled.
So which of you has still the bottle of lightning that you got from the Squelcher Lords?
I guess I have it.
Okay.
Genie has it.
Well, did Victor burn all that stuff or not?
He said
Not
he did.
yet.
Or
Well, I
was-
haven't had a
we still
chance to
cast
burn it yet.
Identify on the 3 magic items.
He hasn't burned it yet.
Oh, identify on the 3 magic items? Yeah, give me a second.
Yeah.
I can explain.
I don't see any reason Genie wouldn't do that, right?
Well,
Yeah,
this would have happened during the downtime, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then once I've read these off, I don't think I need this particular file ever again.
Oh, but
Yay.
Squelcher Lord.
So the first is the collection of exotic spices, and it's this little like wooden slat box with lots of little compartments inside, each of which contains a few pinches of some kind of exotic spice or another. Many of these are just exotic spices, saffron, turmeric. I don't know any other ones. I'm such a boring cook, but amongst them are very obscure and arcane forms of salt, which you can either add to your soup to make them more delicious, or they are 12 doses of salt, which resembles the magic salts that Pladen had used. So by using a bonus action to apply this to a melee or thrown weapon or a piece of ammunition, you can change the damage type of that weapon to, I have a list here. The list you can reference is on Pladen's stat block if you still have it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we saw it.
So yeah, it's basically a bonus action to apply one of these salts. You can change the damage type of your weapon from slashing or piercing or whatever to anything on that list. 12 doses of that if you decide not to just add them to your soup.
Pretty sure that should go to Evie.
Yeah. Would she be able to use her poisoner feat to apply that to her weapon with the bonus action?
It is a bonus action.
It's
to
already a
apply it to
bonus
weapon.
action.
Oh, it is already a bonus action.
Yes.
Well, okay then. I will pay more attention next time. I am sorry. Gosh.
The bottle of lightning. Surprise, surprise, surprise. Is a bottle of lightning. And hearing the stories of the Landstorm, hearing reports now that you have men that have actually seen it up close, and given the proximity of some of the noble houses to southern borders that favored Lord Randus, you think it might be likely that somebody managed to bottle part of that lightning using a magic flask, and that's exactly what this is. Here's the deal. Uncorking this bottle will unleash one time and one time only the Chain Lightning spell. However, you have no control over what it will target.
Stressing.
Is that
I was-
an action?
Yeah, it's an act like using a magic item or drinking a potion or something. Yeah, action to uncork the bottle. It will unleash a Chain Lightning spell. And it'll functionally pick random targets to start blasting. I was really hoping somebody would uncork this in the room, in the hall, after Victor did all that looting. I was hoping that would be very, very amusing.
I think it probably would have killed us all.
That was the boss.
The other magic item is the card case, which Victor never opened.
But
Inside,
Victor,
with the
Victor will
item,
open it that night.
before or after it's
we
identified.
He will open it that night after the Vistani reading.
After we
Before or after it's
identify
identified is the question.
I think we would have identified this, like... Jeannie would have probably done it like, on the way home.
When we set camp, the first night.
Yeah.
Okay. Victor, would you like to commit to opening it after the Vistani reading before learning what the Identify has to say?
Yes.
Really?
Oh, come
Oh
on.
my god.
Oh, do we get to retcon the entire session because Victor explodes?
No. I'm gonna leave him the leeway to change his mind after he hears what the Identify has to say about it.
I figured.
Inside is a cursed object. It's the nature of a cursed object in this manner that it doesn't really reveal its workings under the Identify spell. But whoever opens the card case is going to be cursed by what's inside. Which tells you at least one of the parties at this wedding was not a fan of Lord Randus.
You're kidding.
I cannot even believe that's possible.
So Victor is about to open it, and Jeannie runs in and says, "Wait, it's cursed."
Well, Victor's already cursed. Maybe it'll replace your other curse.
That's what I'm wondering.
That's not how that works. You can have more than one curse.
It's like
Yeah,
it's that scene in The Simpsons with the little with the door and the little like cute like viruses, and then like he's like shoving them through the
all
door.
the curses in exact balance to stop each other.
So
Victor does not open that. He says, "We're gonna burn this."
so it is whoever you can't learn the nature of the curse without opening it.
Is there any ever benefit to being cursed?
Is there any benefit? I'm gonna say no. That's why it's called that.
From a philosophical point, like.
Well, I mean, if you're playing the Ancient Cave in Lufia 2 and you get a fatal pick, like that's a cursed weapon, but you're never gonna unequip it anyway.
There is one additional thing that Jeannie would do with the time while she was in town. It's not like anything major.
Sure.
But you did say that me doing this would probably require rolls because of what I wanted to do.
Okay.
It was I wanted to make an icon for the back of Ekon's church. And like it's just a big circle, like circular, like 6 feet across, like embellished with like accented with the silver wood and
Oh,
all
okay.
this other stuff.
Yeah, that you could get the ball rolling on the design and construction of that, but that's a much larger project than you're actually going to finish in the couple days you're at home in the week or so.
Right.
Like that's something that you probably complete during the winter.
Okay, yeah. But like just a great big thing, and like Ekon will have to like Jeannie's like planning on taking Ekon's input, everybody's input on like the design and stuff like that. You know, she
What
wants
about
this to
Yagan?
be.
Do you want his input?
No, because he'll put an elevator on it.
An upper-majigger.
Do
Jeannie
you think
still
the Crystal
refuses.
Spire had Knuckle
Jeannie will just adamantly every conversation between the two of them is like them talking shop, and then Jeannie using the word lift, and then him just upper majigger, and then she just continuing on and not acknowledging the fact that he said the word upper majigger.
What did you guys call like the vacuum of space?
Contra arrow shell.
The Contra arrow shell.
Yes.
That's because there's a shell of air around the planet, and there's no air. That was Destil.
Yeah, it was entirely Destil. I'm really happy with Upper Majigger, though. I'm so happy, Brickroad. You have no idea how happy I am.
And I guess Jeannie's downtime for the next bit is going to be teaching Tenny, keeping her busy, and designing this icon.
Okay.
Let's get ready for teaching Tenny.
So after you guys
No.
finish everything else that you want us to do in the village, you get packed back up. You're leaving the village in a pretty good state. And you're going to head out. You have a few weeks left until you think the start of winter. The days are turning much colder fairly swiftly. But you decide, like, whatever this phenomenon is, we probably need to figure out what it is and whether it poses a threat to us before we get too deep in the winter when we have other... It's like, if it becomes a pressing concern, better to deal with it now. Heading out to the valley. It's a forested valley, heavily forested, between two large rock shelves. There's a path that runs down the middle of it, north to south, as you can see here on this map. Each of these are 10-foot squares, by the way. It's a very, very large overland map. How are you guys approaching? Are you coming in from the actual valley, or are you coming in on like a hillside overlooking it? The guys that gave you the report, they were felling trees in the area, and the guys had come out in the middle of the night up onto one of the hills to overlook, to see it for themselves from afar.
Well, I say we go there and see where they were and see what we can see from there.
Then yeah, you follow the path that they would tell you about. An old goat trail or something that leads up between some jagged cliffs, and you actually end up over here. And you have this great view of the valley below. What's interesting is that it's very full of mists down below.
Oh, no.
But typically, when you've seen mist, it would encompass the entirety of the terrain. This looks more like a fog bank rolling with the actual mold of the earth, rather than the supernatural mist you're accustomed to seeing. But as night approaches, the fog is rolling out below you along the inner side of this wall, and it starts rolling up along the opposite bank across the other side, which you can only very barely see. It's a very clear night. See, it's a nice moonlit night, but difficult to see a lot of the distinction. The plan tonight, then, is just to watch the spectacle and not get close.
Yeah, I think we want to observe before we go in.
Okay.
Yeah.
And we have familiars that can... Well, familiar might get destroyed by the lightning.
Okay. So, there are three... The whole spectacle is fantastic to watch. It is beautiful and horrifying and extremely loud. And it comes in three phases. The first one was related to you by your men, the woodworkers. But not the second or third. They did not describe these to you, which means they either didn't see them, or because one of their men had gone down, maybe they were preoccupied. The first one is what can only be described as a landstorm. It does start drizzling. But the rain feels hot on your skin, even though you're on the edge of winter, and there's a harsh chill in the air. So the rain is actually a little refreshing at first, but it also feels acrid, like the rain is carrying soot in it. Like a rain after a long, harsh fire. During the rain, the lightning starts. It arcs from the eastern fog bank, crashes all through the ground, snaking along and through the terrain, kicking up dust and rocks, and disappearing into the western bank with a crash. But it doesn't resemble a lightning strike like you're thinking. It doesn't look like a flash of light and then it's gone. Instead, it builds and builds and builds until it's crisscrossing in front of you, and it almost looks like a line is drawn from one fog bank to the other, right underneath you. The second thing you see, as the thunder gets louder and louder and louder, and is continuous, as though it's never fading away and never echoing. And you watch shapes emerge from the fog. Do we have any dark vision in the group?
Yes, actually,
I
I'm
can-
wearing... Okay, go ahead.
I can cast it if it needs to be. So if it gets dark, then yeah, I will absolutely put it on.
Okay.
I'll be able to cast it at the end of the session, probably.
So Edmont, are you going to cast it?
Yeah.
Okay. And Gina, you have it just because you're a cheater?
Yes, I currently don't have the spell refueling ring infused. I have the goggles.
Okay.
Goggles of night.
Those of you without dark vision, you just see like dark shapes, and you only see them because of the contrast against the brightness of the ground, like shadows moving swiftly along this path created by the lightning. Jeannie and Edmont, the range on your dark vision is what, 60?
Let me see. You have a division of 60 feet.
60 feet? And Edmont, the same?
Come to me, page.
Is it less
60,
than 60?
yep.
60, okay.
It's 60.
So 60 feet of
Also-
dark vision from your vantage point doesn't give you a whole lot of range, but it lets you see the shapes nearest to you as they eject from the fog out onto the lightning crashing across the valley. And to your eyes, for a moment, before they disappear into the shadow of darkness beyond your range of dark vision, they look like carriages, like horse-drawn carriages, like you would see in the streets of Brennanine, but moving faster than any horse could possibly pull them, as though the lightning is pulling them along the ground. And then the wailing begins. Horrified screaming that you have some recollection of. You remember the atrocities in Brennanine, the people, the vast destruction, the horror of that night, the sensation of a lifetime crumbling down in a moment. And the sound of it triggers your memories. And the thing that passes beyond the shapes, beyond what you see as carriages, following out of the mist and swallowing up the last of the carriages and leaving not even the trail of lightning behind, can only be described as the end of civilization. And as this exits the mists, chews up the lightning in front of you, and the wailing finally subsides and stops echoing throughout the valley. The last of the lightning crackles away, and the mist begins to clear.
What the hell did we just see?
That's next
Edmont
week's
starts
dungeon.
muttering. Edmont starts muttering, starts filling his pipe.
Well, that was pretty, wasn't it, guys?
Distressing.
That might have been the most horrifying thing we've seen since we got here, and when you were here for most of it, so you know how bad it was.
I mean, did you see the Squelcher Lord? He was pretty gross.
I mean, we just saw, like, the symbolic representation of the end of civilization.
I mean, didn't we see the actual end before we got here?
I mean, it's not our civilization that ended, so what does it matter?
It was your civilization
Wasn't?
that ended. You were there for it.
Oh, I thought... Okay, sorry. Thought you were talking about, like, whatever their civilization was. Okay.
All right, so that's where we'll end it for the week. And when we come back next week, you guys are going to climb down and figure out what to do about all this.
Curl up in a corner and cry.
We're gonna go ride the lightning.
Ride the lightning. I'm going to go ahead and go dark for a couple minutes. I know we didn't do any combat this session, but we did quite a lot of role-playing. You guys take a few minutes to think about your blips. Saul, don't forget to claim your blip for making that gorgeous map that I'm sure we all appreciated. So yeah, I'm going to go dark for about 2 seconds. I'll be right back.
Who was most creative today?
Trying to think of what we did, just going through everything.
I want to say Victor, but I don't really know why.
Let me see. Can we... Can we come back to that one? Instead of just let that one stew for a moment.
For the party's goals the most today.
I think that was probably Evie.
I'm going to say Evie for that one, for trying to negotiate water rights and stuff.
Mm-hmm. Concur.
The badass is feel like
Victor cried in front of you all.
no. Victor deserves to cry.
That might be intangibles.
I want to give. Man, I just blanked on absolutely everything we've done.
It was
all of
very
eternity.
it was a very morose session. So
Yeah,
I spent most of the little session just listening to Meatball Parade. I'm not gonna lie.
God.
I'm listening to it right now.
I've got notes for intangibles. I don't have notes for any others.
Okay, what's intangible?
I was gonna say we should give intangibles to Victor for wanting to destroy all of the.
Yeah, but he didn't.
He hasn't had a chance to yet, unless it just magically happened in downtime. I want to do like actual in-game destruction of it.
Okay. But anyway, that's fine. For Victor's emotional breakdown, is what we'll say.
Yeah.
So that leaves creative and badass.
Creative. The only thing I can...
Playing the game with the rings was kind of fun. We didn't actually switch the rings on him.
I'm so disappointed in you guys for giving him the real ring.
We could have. I thought about it, like, we could wish.
As soon as Darius gets back, he knows he's got the wrong ring. Like, they're like best friends. Like that.
And he would be like, oh, I gave it to those guys.
Yeah.
But, yeah, so that's one of the main reasons why I was like, yeah, no.
Yeah. I mean, also, like, it's just the right thing to do after we've given this guy the third degree and give him a fucking runaround.
I mean, well, think about it. You destroy his entire family and the nobility, and then you give him the one thing that will grant his heart's desire? That's really dangerous.
It was badass and let's see.
Creative.
I'm going to give badass to Edmont for being the only one of us to kind of keep it together.
Yeah, I was the only one who did pass that horror check at the beginning of the session.
The only one that kept it together and kind of kept you did keep the ball rolling during that session, and it was on the strength of that horror check, so that's good. And then that was badass.
Creative.
And then creative is, I don't know, Jeannie for her refusal to call it an up-a-majig. I don't know.
All right.
I really can't think of anything.
All right. Who wants to make a case for some blips?
I can go.
Jeannie.
That. Let me actually get my character sheet up where my notes are. Chaotic neutral, when in doubt, go with your gut for going and just sitting and then like just trying to process like all that death and then just standing up and going, you know what? I need to get out of here. Why don't you come with me? And she didn't come, but you know, that was just a very spur of the moment. Come on, let's get out of here. To that.
So Jeannie is currently in the lead for
number of failed horror checks. Yeah.
Is the horror of Darkon starting to change her at all?
I don't think it's starting to change her, but it's starting to. She's starting to get fatigued, I guess.
So when she feels that sense of horror, her gut tells her, "Nope, just walking away from this. Gonna focus on something
right
else
up
now."
Right up the river denial.
Okay,
we've already been through this. Like because she straight up like got a natural 20 on the biggest like applicable horror check to her. It's like, so I'm just kind of like playing her like she's starting to get fatigued and she's ignoring it and bottling up. She's taking it, putting it to the side, and that's not going to backfire at all. Okay. Practical. My ideal practical solutions to impractical problems for just general excitement for talking to Elevator Man and just going over his blueprints and finding somebody who, you know, even if he is kind of crazy, but you know, just talking shop with somebody, because none of these guys are smart enough. They've all got their intelligences, but nobody likes machine. Nobody does machines. You know.
Do I
There's
have
not a dot.
Do I have to explain the joke for people like viewers who have not played this weekend in games?
No, you
Okay.
I
don't.
think you thoroughly explained it in the middle of the session.
You did.
I guess.
Like, also, I
Like-
hate you. Like, I came to the realization what this man wanted, and I was no.
I was so happy. One, because it's the sweet an elevator man, and two, it's causing Treble pain, and I love it.
He spent an entire campaign literally whipping Treble's character.
Yeah, but see, that's what you don't get. Bertie was into it.
Okay.
Okay, that. Wow. All right.
Okay.
My flaw, don't worry about it, was just a setback for excuse me, for immediately trying to blow up the dam, getting talked down, and then convincing everybody to blow up the dam.
There was quite a lot of anxiety about what was going to happen if the dam was destroyed.
Well, like, you know, like I thought we were a little closer, but you're like, nah, y'all are too far down. I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah, no, like it was never my intention because the dam just reversed the waterfalls that were already there. Like, you guys had enough to worry about in that whole situation without having to worry about the dam.
Yeah, no.
And
I was
then-
I was concerned with the political fallout of us doing this thing that he said he would do. Like, I wanted to rely on we just made an out, like I think I said this earlier, but we just made a tenuous ally, and I would like to start down on a foot of trust. You know what I mean? And that's why I was advocating let him do it, because he said he would, and we take him at his word.
Okay.
Jeannie really just wanted to use the dynamite. And then the video.
Okay, who's next?
I can go next.
Evie.
Alignment, you mess with my family, you mess with me for constructing a poison to protect her family from Edmont's dark side.
I mean, the confinement seems to be working pretty well.
Yeah, but Evie wants to have something in her back pocket. It's like a,
Like, there's a reason Batman has a secret cache of kryptonite.
yeah, exactly. That's exactly it. This is her trying to be proactive. If Edmont ever gets out, she needs a way to neutralize him. Ideal. I must become a leader who others can believe in for negotiating with Drala to secure our independence, our water rights, and get us food for the winter.
Okay.
And last flaw no one understands for Victor repeatedly humiliating her in front of another lord by refusing to obey her orders. And the map.
And the beautiful village map. All right, who's next?
I guess there we go.
Victor.
So for the alignment, the ends justify the means. That's keeping his promise and freeing the guys from the stocks and intending to dispose of the treasure from all the dead civilians that died as a result of our actions.
And as far as you know, none of those guys in the stocks ever committed another crime ever again in the end.
He feels very happy about that.
And they moved to the farm
Yeah,
with
they're
the people from
relatively
Flumph of the
upstate
Wild.
now.
That farm's getting pretty cramped.
It was also the lady from this campaign, the bookseller.
Yeah,
Right,
she's
oh,
up there.
yeah.
So for Ideal Seek the Truth, that was when he went to tell the three men that Randus was dead in his conversation with Dox.
Okay.
And then Flaw values knowledge over people. That is, once again, approaching the Vistani to find out what they wanted.
It seems like
But
every
also
time
his
you
breathing.
approach the Vistani, you just learn something terrible.
It's Ravenloft. There's nothing to learn except terrible things.
Is it worth the terror you know versus the terror you don't?
These Vistani seem nice. They didn't try to eat us.
Is ignorance bliss in this situation?
Ignorance can be an asset.
Not for Victor.
All right, who's
I don't
next?
think this is Call of Cthulhu. Like, being dumb is not a superpower.
Who's next?
I can go.
I'll go.
Ekon.
I've got lawful good. The shining words of air lay down a path for us all for insisting that we not just give Drala the fake ring and claim that we'd given him the real one.
You guys gave him both in the end, I thought.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, one of them's just a mundane gold ring. So.
Sure. But it's gold.
And then Flaw, I'm sure there has to be something good over the next hill. Yeah, sure, why not? Let's dynamite the dam. I'm sure that'll go well.
It was beautiful. It was a wonderful spectacle to see.
So
I think that's it.
bonding moment.
Okay. And Edmont.
I have my alignment, lawful neutral, take everything he can, give nothing back for his negotiations with Tatala at the beginning.
Okay.
I have my ideals, life is my canvas, and I'll make my mark on it for taking for just using his art to try and just escape from the horrors that he's witnessed lately.
Okay.
And my flaw, the world is filled with predators and prey, and I sure as hell am not prey. And I just the thing that I wanted to do for that just kind of up and vanished from my head.
It's just gone.
It went away, and I'm really mad at myself for it.
Like a fart in the wind.
Exactly.
All right. Who had the most creative solution to a problem this session?
What did we give that to? Like, we didn't really give that one to anybody. That was, we were kind of struggling on that one.
Okay.
I'm going to say,
Did we give it to Genie? Or who gave it?
like we were discussing it when Brooke came back. The discussion when Brooke came back was Genie for giving the guy the third degree about the like what is your, like, do you have the materials? Do you have plans for a space? And then you're like, no, it's gonna fade to black. We're gonna crossfade. We're gonna get back to it. But I'm okay with that if nobody can think of anything else. Because I just leveled, I would accept anybody else speaking up for it.
Who has? I don't even know who's who hasn't leveled yet.
So creative for Genie.
Haven't.
Yeah, I guess so.
Okay. Who did the most this week to further the party's goals?
That was Evie.
Evie, for laying down what we wanted, saying this is what we can offer you in exchange.
And who was the badass?
That was Edmont for passing the horror check and keeping everything rolling while everybody else recovered.
Did they?
I mean, he didn't have a field drawing a Reaper. That's
well,
all.
I mean, like, yeah, but everybody else. I mean, like, Genie's the only one that just left the room. Everybody else was down.
I have to say, it did seem like everybody had a pretty visceral reaction to failing that horror check. And Edmont did kind of just power through it.
Yep.
I just don't think recovered is the word I would use there.
Hey,
I don't
power
think any of us will ever recover.
You don't
That's
recover
what it
from
was.
failing horror checks. They just accumulate in the background until something terrible happens.
That's what it was. Just for stepping back, seeing that we have all of these dead bodies. Let's just keep on going. We got shit to do here.
powering through the horror check. He's the only one that passed that horror check.
Yes.
Yeah.
Else
And-
failed.
I could put that forward for my flaw as well.
For your flaw? Okay. We can also give one
Yeah.
for intangibles.
That was
Just Victor. Like, I think he was the
emotional breakdown. Yeah.
I think he was just the kind of the standout, the show stealer.
We're going to reward that
The
kind of
session.
behavior?
No.
I feel like he grew a little bit.
It's the first time Victor has ever shown remorse, probably in his entire life.
Wow. That
I
seems
mean,
kind of
that's
harsh.
that's the first time people have accidentally died. Except for his parents. But we're not going to get into that.
Well, that probably wasn't Victor's fault. He was like a baby. And Jeannie has our straw poll for the week. Okay, so adding all these up. Blips are... We have level 8s now, yes?
Yes.
All right,
Yes.
so blips are worth 466 each. 466. Edmont, you have 5 and you earned 4, so you're rolling over at least 3. Do you want to come in next week with 6?
Let me do some math on my end real quick.
Ekon, you had 1 and earned 2, so you're coming in next week with 3.
Yep.
Evie, you had 6, you earned 5, all of which you have to roll over.
Evie leveled up.
Jeannie had 6 and earned 6. You earned 6? Yeah, you
I'm
earned
amazing.
6.
Sorry.
Victor, you had 1 and earned 4. Are you coming in next week with 5?
Yeah.
Okay, and so Edmont, are
I am typing the numbers into calc.exe.
good old calc.exe.
I have 269s in my XP total right now.
Nice.
Nice. What is the what? How much are blips worth? 466.
466.
I am like 150 away from being able to level if I cash in all my blips. So no, I will not be cashing in all my blips.
We got to cash in at least 3. Do you want to come in next week with 6?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's what I meant. Yeah, cashing in with 6 wouldn't push me up to a level. So
All right.
Can we
I'd rather keep him for the dungeon.
Can we give Ekon the creative blip for drawing peacefully?
Nope, too late. That ship has sailed. Don't worry, there will be no shortage of combat once you guys start investigating the Landstorm.
That's why we want him to level before
Yeah,
we
but a level
investigate.
7 monk would be better than a level 6 monk.
You should have thought of that before you didn't level up this week. All right, that's it. Thanks for playing, guys. I'll see everybody next week.
Collects
Yeah,
every
yeah.
blip he can during the session, and apparently wasn't cool enough to be the standout for the voting. And that's my fault then, huh?
Crybaby.
Not even a cool guy.